Hello, I'm Stuart Bloor. That's the River Severn behind me, the lower Severn to be precise, below Worcester, very wide and also deep as well. I'm actually fishing for perch, and I've been on this stretch before, but for other species. In fact, I would say that most anglers fish the lower Severn for barbel, zander and pike, and I've never heard anyone fishing for perch on here, so I don't even know what's in the river or the potential of the fish here. But if you follow my angling journal regularly, then you'll know that I love that sort of challenge, to come somewhere and to set my stall out to catch a particular fish. Sometimes obviously it doesn't work out, but other times it does, and when it does come together, then it's a brilliant feeling. So there's only one way to put your emotions to the test when you feel something about a particular river or a particular lake or a particular stretch. It's no good just thinking there might be perch in here, there might be roach in here, there might be whatever in this place. We have to at some point get out there and cast out and see what we're going to catch. So I've arrived on the banks of the River Severn. It's a beautiful summer's afternoon, and I'm about to cast out now, and I'll show you along the edge so you get an idea of the type of swims that I'm going to be fishing. Well, I'll be fishing one swim, but the type of swim that I'll be fishing. As you saw there, the lilies. As you saw there, the willows extend a little bit over into the river, and so I'm intending to fish not too far off the edge of those trees. I'm using a cage feeder. It is quite deep, so there's a cage feeder, short hook length, about 4 inches. And then I've got a size 14 Drennan Super Specialist. So a very, very simple setup. I'm fishing a quiver tip, and I'm going to put on the hook a couple of red maggots, and then there's my like blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. Here's some I mixed up earlier, and I've got some brown crumb in there. I've got a little bit of predator mix as well. I like to just put that in. Bear in mind, when we think of predators, we think of pike and zander, but of course perch are predators, and so got that in there, and of course some red maggots which I'm fishing on the hook. And then when I put the water in from the river, I added some liquid lobworm. As you can see there, I've got through that quite a lot so far this year. It is quite concentrated. It's 1 to 10 in terms of what you add to the water from the lake or the river, but it's good. I like the additives. I'm into that sort of thing. Gives you the edge. So I've done all that, ready to fill my cage now, put a couple of maggots on, cast out. Let's see how it goes. How about that? Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely chuffed with that. As you can see, just a small perch, only ounces really, but really happy to catch that because of the circumstances of fishing somewhere that I didn't even know that there were perch in there. I think it was about the third cast out. I'm doing some fairly quick casts to begin with, to lay down a carpet of feed to bring the fish in, and the tip started to go, struck into it. There it was, a lovely perch. Brilliant. My favourite species as well. With the perch, I'm catching them throughout the afternoon. I really enjoyed that. Apart from one rod, I caught an all perch catch, so that was great to catch the species that I set out for. Nothing big, but we have to try these things, and you never know what might be lurking in there, so I've enjoyed it. Although my perch session has come to an end, I'm continuing to stay on the river. I'm going to do an overnighter for barbel. I think this day and age, the cost of petrol, if we can tag sessions together, then it certainly makes economic sense. I'm not one of these anglers who fishes very well with a rod out for this and a rod out for something else. I tend to fish better when I'm focused. So I've been focused on the perch this afternoon, and now through the night it's time to get switched on for the barbel. But that will be for another article, another video and another day. That was a small bream. This is session 2. I'm on a different venue, totally different altogether. It's a large reservoir. Never fished here before, but like the lower Severn, I'm testing the perch potential. Got the rod out, hence I'm looking away from the camera. I've just had a little tap. I've been here about half an hour. I've made a few casts, fishing similar to how I was on the lower Severn, actually, with a cage feeder. Fishing a worm on the hook, size 10, and brown crumb, predator mix, liquid lobworm, red maggots, and then fishing the worm over that. Put a few casts out to try and create a bed of bait. It's just worked with a bream, but of course it's the perch I'm after, and hopefully, because it is a real step into the unknown, hopefully I will get some of my target species during this session. Perch! There you go. Not big, but it's a start. Good perch. Here's another one, another perch that I've just caught. Beautiful fish. In fact, so beautiful I could kiss it. I'm not quite 2 hours into the session yet, and after the first few casts where I put the bait down, it's been action all the way. I've had a few bream, probably about a pound to 2 pound. I've had one about 4, so that's been the best bream so far. But the fish that I came for, perch, I've been catching those. So that's been particularly encouraging, really, because whenever you set your stall out to catch a certain fish and you catch that fish, then it always brings a sense of reward. I'm watching the quiver tip, and it's great just to see the initial tap, a little bit of a pull, strike into the fish. I think I'm going to get to enjoy this place, although it is my first session and I need to do a few more visits before I can get a real good picture of what it's all about. But not exactly a hardship, is it? Playing another fish. It's still quite early in the day. Mind you, I was up at 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. I didn't get to bed till well after 12. Set the alarm for 3 o'clock. So there is a sense of dedication there and commitment, which of course on this occasion is paying off. And I think this is another perch. And a nice one as well. That's some very good fish today. Yeah, this is another good fish. Let me introduce my guest of the week, Steve Collett. Steve is the current national champion, and so I asked him to share with us just a few of his experiences on the day.
The national, mate, I still think about it to this day. It's one of them things where I've fished that many nationals and come back absolutely distraught because I've drew a bad peg, or the team hasn't done very well, and something keeps me going. I think it's the fact that the 600 blokes there, the camaraderie in the morning's absolutely superb. And when I was asked to fish this one, I went up and had a couple of practice matches actually, because A, I like the Trent, B, I like barbel fishing, so I thought I'll go up. I did really well on the practice matches on the run up to it, and I was asked to fish for Farnborough and District, Southern outfit, and a guy called Simon Young asked me, and I said to him basically, I've got that much on, if I don't draw peg 1A I'm going home. And I said to a photographer the night before, I said, look, if I don't draw peg 1A we'll go and fish this place. And then this young lady drew the pegs for us and she said, what peg did you want again? I said 1A. She says, well, you've got it. And I couldn't believe it. I just thought that, I knew I'd catch fish, but I spoke to a couple of match anglers who said, look, you've got to catch the bream because they're easy to get out. I went for the bream, didn't have anything in the first half hour. I thought, oh no, that's it. I blew the biggest flyer I've ever drew in my life on a 700 pegger, absolutely distraught. So I thought, that's it, I'll just stick to my normal barbelling tactic. So out come a 2-pound test curve rod. I looked around me and knew from specimen fishing days that there was like a little gravel bar just at the bottom of this outlet pod. It was a fair old chuck. I should say you're looking at 70 yards. Now, everybody says I can cast 100 yards, but it's not the case. 70 yards is a long old chuck with a face on wind. So anyway, I did it. I found the gravel bar. It was just probably over 70 yards. And I kept on casting, then put a hook on, and the moment that tip went ba-doing, I thought, that's it. Had a barbel, and that was it then. History was made, I suppose. I just had that many barbel and absolutely loved it. It was superb, mate. It was a peg made for me. It should have had my name on from the very start, you know. And it was still to this day. Dick Clegg said to me afterwards, he said, look, they can never take this away from you now. It's a bit of angling history, and it is, you know. It's very lucky drawing that peg, but people say you've got to get the fish out, and on that day, 50 odd kilos, 100 odd pound of barbel, it was just up my street. And oh, I'm thankful for it, I tell you. It was absolutely superb, and that's it, my name's on that little trophy now and on that honours list forever. So hopefully I can go on the, I think it's on the Junction Canal this year up at Doncaster, and I'll go and do the same, but I don't think I'll have 56 kilo of barbel though. So yeah, loved it, mate, absolutely loved it. Very lucky man.
That was great, Steve, thanks for sharing that. The video is now coming to an end, but the session's going to continue, so if you want to know how I'll get on in the other remaining hours that I've got left, then check out the article. All the details will be coming up on the screen soon. As well as a video, there is an article each week that complement one another and more or less just give an ongoing account of my fishing experiences. This one's about perch. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed this day particularly so far, and I'm looking forward to the remaining casts that I'm going to make this session. I've had some good perch, but what I'm really looking for is a monster. Is the one out there? Well, who knows? I'm going to certainly give it my best shot.